are key changes coming to Part D in 2024. And here to talk with me about that is Jae Oh, author of Maximize Your Medicare. Jae, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Bob.
It's a pleasure, and it'll be a pleasure to have you walk us through some of these key changes that are coming to Part D in 2024.
Well, time flies, Bob, and we're already here, almost at the almost to the fourth quarter, and 2024 is upon us in the coming months. And what we'll have are some phased-in changes resulting from the Inflation Reduction Act. These are largely in the favor of Part D beneficiaries, which is the drug standalone prescription plan or prescription drug benefits program under Medicare. For me, a few highlights. The first one is that the number of people who are eligible for the Extra Help program, which is a federal program, is going to be expanded, meaning there are cutoffs as far as the income required, and now that is going to be increased. If we could do anything, Bob, what we would like to do is to encourage as many people as possible, if they think that they qualify for extra help, to at least explore this avenue. Because there's a statistic, and I can't remember it off the top of my head, it is an alarming percentage of people who are actually likely to be eligible and simply are not enrolled in the Extra Help program. Beyond that, there are going to be a few extra changes. For me, the most significant is the fact that the catastrophic stage of Part D, which is a very complicated math of Part D, is going to basically come to an end, meaning that people would know if they have very expensive medications, the types of medications that are thousands of dollars a month, $10,000 a year, that once they got to the catastrophic stage, they would still be responsible for 5%. In 2024, that number goes to 0%. So you can see that is very, very dramatic, especially for those persons on very expensive medications.
What are some of the challenges and opportunities of these changes from your perspective?
Well, I think what it really does help the Medicare beneficiary population is the fact that the financial ramifications here cannot be overstated, which is that people have been with a very, very expensive bill. For example, those medications that cost $20,000 a year, 5% of a huge number is still a very large number. And it gets better in 2025 when there's going to be a cap on the out-of-pocket expenses for Part D medications at $2,000 a calendar year. These together will dramatically lower the prescription drug out-of-pocket cost that Medicare beneficiaries will have to bear. So big, in fact, that people's entire way of thinking through retirement timing, all the other topics that you and I have talked about and you've got as part of your platform, is the fact that now all of a sudden different paths towards retirement, etc., are now going to be changed. And in addition to that, what you will have is the fact that these changes large enough to create a relief for many, many people, one that can change, like I said, the course of retirement planning. And not only that, it reduces the variability, it reduces the risk, it reduces the unknown about what the future will have.
Right. And my understanding is that this was all part of the Inflation Reduction Act. Is this the source of these changes?
Yes, that is the case. And at this point, Bob, even though there was some debate about this during the debt ceiling debate, that looks to be over at the moment, let's say. And so these are obviously positive developments for Medicare beneficiaries as a result of the Inflation Reduction Act. That's right.
Yeah. We talked about the extra help, but I failed to ask about the eligibility requirements. I take it that it's income based.
It's actually income and resource based, but what I'm saying is that the income portion is going to be increasing from up to 150% of the federal poverty level, and hopefully kind of offsetting obviously or the projected Part B and other increasing costs for Medicare beneficiaries.
Yeah. So net a positive development for Medicare beneficiaries.
I think that that's absolutely right. The Inflation Reduction Act, and as we have spoken in the past, a big win for me for the Medicare population.
Yeah. All right, Jay, we covered a lot of ground. Anything we missed, or anything that you just want to sort of tie a bow on?
Well, as always, Bob, keeping up to date, the single most important thing. The pieces are going to continue to move and evolve. I don't think there's any way that we're going to get away from that conclusion. So as you can hear from today, the financial impact to the retirees, to the Medicare population, large.
Yeah. So we talk weekly. Obviously, we're running stories about Medicare on Retirement Daily, but there's also another place to go that bears your byline too. Is that right?
Certainly, Bob. The official website to the book is maximizeyourmedicare.com. There's a newsletter, which I've called Jay's Corner, which is kind of extra things that are related, adjacent to Medicare, in addition, of course, to Medicare and healthcare cost planning.
Yeah, and it's a great way for folks to keep abreast of some of the changes that we've just talked about on a more frequent basis than what we do here weekly. So thank you, Jay, for everything that you do for us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Bob.